Welcome to Daily Dose Radio, a 5-minute devotional podcast studying the Psalms verse by verse. Broadcast from the ever-beautiful Sharonville, Ohio, on the sunny side of Cincinnati. Welcome back to Daily Dose Radio. This is your home for farm fresh Bible study picked right off the vine. This is Daily Dose Radio, 5 minutes a day. Come and join us. This week we're looking at Psalm 126. Psalm 126, we have 6 verses, and we're told in this psalm that this is a song for those ascending. So we're still in the ascent psalms. I hope you can join me all week as we look at this psalm and examine some prophecy. This is prophetic, what we have here. And remember, the ascent psalms are the psalms of returning. The men of Israel were to go back to the temple 3 times a year to celebrate those feast days. And this was this little booklet of psalms, 15 in all, were used as they traveled from their place of homestead to the temple, and I would say back again. Probably they were singing these songs as well, but I'd like to think that this little group of psalms maybe was published for travelers, to inspire their devotion as they approached the place of worship, and to make each respite a time of worship before they ever got to the temple. So we have this as a song for those ascending. We're going to read 6 verses this week, and we're going to do verse 1 today. So let me just read you my translation. When the Lord returns, the restoration of Zion, we will be like the ones who dream. Now that's verse 1. And as I said, this is prophetic because we're looking forward to a time when. As a matter of fact, the very first word in this psalm is when. When the Lord returns. Now we have the Lord's name, the Tetragrammaton here, and we have it actually several times in this particular psalm. And we have this phrase, the Lord returns. We have again that phrase again in verse 4, begins verse 4. There it's not when, but the Lord returns. So now we come to verse 1, when the Lord returns, the restoration of Zion. We have a unique word here. This is a word that occurs nowhere else. This is the only place in Scripture where we have it, and it's that word for restoration. Some of your translations will have the captivity of Zion. So the restoration of Zion, when he returns, the restoration of Zion, that is all those who are to come back to that land. The restoration of Zion, or the captivity, is another way to translate it. This particular word doesn't occur anywhere else in the Scripture. It's only here, and it's used in conjunction with the idea of returning. So he's returning those that are being restored of Zion. It's a construct, so you have of Zion there. So the Lord is returning those that are being restored of Zion. And then you'll notice the last phrase begins there in the second half. We will be like those that dream. So we're dreaming about something wonderful. It's a future happening. And it's not happened yet, friends. Some people will translate this and say, well, this is what the people in captivity in Babylon wrote before they were released. Or perhaps it's the writing of some Jewish scribe somewhere off in the diaspora, and he's dreaming about a time when all of Israel will be restored. Yes to both of those, but I would say that this is more about the final restoration when Messiah comes and he builds that eternal kingdom, and the people of Israel are gathered together. Even the resurrected Israel is brought in. So all of God's people, all those chosen people of Israel are brought in, and the promise made to them is fulfilled. This is that time. So the Lord is returning and restoring all of Zion. It's a wonderful promise. So join me tomorrow. We're going to look at verse 2 and possibly 3 tomorrow. I'm not sure where I'm going to add in that extra verse this week, but join me tomorrow on Daily Dose Radio. Thanks for listening to Daily Dose Radio. I'm David Smith. The music today has been performed by the Bluegrass Experiment. Thanks again for listening. I'll see you next time on Daily Dose Radio.